I'm playing the third quest of my campaign from the revised core set, Escape from Dol Guldur, using the Sylvan starter deck and the Dwarf starter deck, without switching any cards in, using the original deck that they have made. Setup. Put Mendor into play and attach Pointed by Fate to a hero the first player's choice. Forced. When a hero would be randomly selected to be a prisoner, the prisoner from the campaign log is selected instead. Each card attached to that hero is turned face down until the hero is rescued. Mendor is captured as well. Place Mendor face down next to the prisoner. This cause does not cause him to leave play. Flip this card over. Response. After the first objective is claimed, put Mendor face up and place 1 damage token on him. And going back to last quest, the hero that had the most damage on him was Ori. So he is going to be flipped face down, and I think a lot of people forget to add is the Nazgul of Dol Guldur, because he's only mentioned to add him written on the Nazgul himself. So what I do to remind me is I put him right underneath the prisoner, so when I flip the prisoner over and rescue him, the Nazgul is right there. I'm flipping over Mendor. And the Pointed by Fate is a boon. An attached hero collects 1 additional resource during each resource phase. I'm going to attach this to Dane. And I have to shuffle the Lingering Venom burden that I earned in the Passage Through Mirkwood into the encounter deck. The starting threat for the Dwarf deck is 26, and the Sylvan deck is 29. Draw our opening hands. I'm going to keep this hand. So I'm going to keep this hand as well. "1A, Necromancer's Tower. The Lady Galadriel of Lorien has asked you to investigate the area in the vicinity of Dol Guldur. While doing so, one of your allies was ambushed by orcs. Captured, it is now being held in a dungeon cell. Setup. Search the encounter deck for the 3 objective cards. Reveal and place them in the staging area. Place the Nazgul of Dol Guldur face up, but out of play, alongside the quest. Then shuffle the encounter deck and attach 1 encounter card per objective. So instead of next to the quest, I put them underneath the prisoner. Now we have the objective cards we need to put down. Each one is guarded and not listed like in later on quests where they're guarded by a specific treachery card. This, even if it's whatever card pops up, whether it's an enemy or a location or a treachery, will attach to it. Caught in a web. When revealed, the player with the highest threat level attaches this card to one of their heroes. Counts as a condition attachment with the text, attached hero does not ready during the refresh phase unless you pay 2 resources to that resource pool. I'm going to attach it to Galadriel. And card 2 is Under the Shadows. When revealed, until the end of the phase, raise the total threat in the stage area by X, where X is the number of players in the game. Well, we're not in any phase, so that's a whiff. And now 3rd card is a Tower Gate. It's 2 threat, 1 quest point, dungeon. After traveling to Tower Gate, each player places the top card of his deck face down in front of him, as if it were just engaged from the staging area. These cards are called Orc Guards and act as enemies with 1 hit point, 1 attack, and 1 defense. Now we take our turn. Draw a card. We are not idle. And going to 1B. 9 quest points. When revealed, we ignore that. So that when revealed effect is only when you're playing non-campaign mode. The players as a group can't play more than 1 ally card each round. The players can't advance to the next stage of the quest unless they have at least 1 objective card. I'm going to put the healing herbs onto Biffer. I'm going to put the Erebor Record Keeper into play as the 1 hero that can go into 1 ally that can go into play for the group. And then I'm going to pass one resource over to Biffer and put into the source map onto Biffer. Now we're going to go over to the Sylvan deck, draw a card. We're going to put Olorian onto Celeborn. Using Galadriel's resource. And now we're going to use Celeborn's resource and put Nenya onto Galadriel. And that gives her the lore icon. Now we're going to go into the questing phase. We're going to quest for 3. Four, 5. Six, 7, 8. And there's a total of 2 in the staging area. First card revealed is a Necromancer's Reach. That knocks out the Erebor Record Keeper. And deals 1 damage to Biffer and 1 damage to Celeborn. And the second card is a Cavern Guardian. Doom 1. So it added 2 threats to the staging area. And we had to take off 2 threat because the Record Keeper got destroyed. So we quested successfully by 2. So that puts 2 progress onto the main quest. Now we're going to optionally engage the Guardian with the Dwarf deck. And then since the Sylvan deck didn't engage an enemy, we're going to snipe the Cavern Guardian because he only gets 1 defense and 2 hit points. Now we're going to go to the next round. Draw a card. Orphan. We're not going to play anything. We're going to go over to the Dwarf deck. We're going to put a Longbeard Elder into play. Now we're going to play a We Are Not Idle and draw a card. Now going to the questing phase, we're going to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a total of 2 in the staging area. First card is Chieftain Uftak. And the second card is the Mountains of Mirkwood. So we added a total of 4 to the staging area, bringing us up to 6. So we quested successfully by 3, bringing us up to 5. Now we're going to discard the Sora's map to cancel the travel effect for the Mountains of Mirkwood. Now we're going to go to the next round. Draw a card. We are not idle. We're going to play that and draw a card. Very good tail. We're going to put an Erebor Hammersmith into play. And then that is going to return the Sora's map to my hand. We're going to move 1 resource from Dane over to Biffer and play the Sora's map. Now we're going to go over to the Sylvan deck, draw a card. Going to go to the questing phase. Going to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And there is 4 in the staging area. First card is a King Spider. Each player must choose and exhaust 1 character. So I'm going to have to exhaust Dane and Haldir. And that minuses off 3 willpower, bringing us down to 8. And the next one is the Necromancer's Pass. So that added a total of 5 threat to the staging area, bringing it up to 9. And now we're going to exhaust Galadriel and add 4 willpower. Gives that to Biffer. So now we're up to 12. So we quested successfully by 3 with just enough to clear the Mountains of Mirkwood. And its response that after Mountains of Mirkwood leaves play as an explored location, each player may search the top 5 cards of their deck for one card and put it into their hand. Shuffle the rest of the cards back into their owner's deck. We're going to put a Gandalf into hand for the dwarf deck. And a Test of Will into play for the Sylvan deck, or into our hand. Now we're going to discard the Sword's Map to travel to the Necromancer's Pass. And the King Spider engages the dwarf deck. And I'm going to have to take this attack undefended. Raise your player's threat by 4. Raise the defending player's threat by 8. Attack is undefended. That wasn't good. Now I have to deal 3 damage to Dane. We go to the next round, and we're going to ready up Galadriel. Test of Will. We're going to go over to the dwarf deck, draw a card, Lowen. We also get to draw another card because we don't get to draw another card because we don't have 5 dwarves yet. We're going to put in moving a resource from Haldir over to Biffer. Now we're going to play Gandalf. And we're going to do 4 damage to the King Spider, destroying him. Now we're going to quest. For 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And there's 4 in the staging area. First card is a Great Forest Web. And the second card is a Dol Guldur Beastmaster. So we added 4 to the staging area, brings it up to 8. So we quest successfully by 3. That clears out the Necromancer's Paths and puts 1 progress onto the main quest. Now we're going to travel to the Great Web, and we're going to exhaust Galadriel. And both the Beastmaster and Chieftain Uftok engage the Dwarf deck. We're going to block Chieftain Uftok with Dane. Attacking enemy gets +1. So it does 1 damage to Dane. And now we're going to block the Dol Guldur Beastmaster with Gandalf. +1. So he gets +1, so that's no damage to Gandalf. But we do have to put a resource onto Chieftain Uftok, and that gives him +2 attack. Now we're going to use Haldir's ability to deal 2 damage to the Dol Guldur Beastmaster. Now we go towards the refresh phase. And I'm going to play a very good tail. And before Gandalf leaves play at the end of the round, he readies, so we can exhaust Gandalf and the Erebor Hammersmith. So a total of 7 cost. So now we shuffle our deck and discard the top 5 cards. And we can put into play up to 2 allies that cost less combined than the combined amount of the exhausted characters. Well, we have only 2 options, but this will work out. I'm going to put the Erebor Record Keeper into play. And the Miner of the Iron Hills. And that says, after Miner of the Iron Hills enters play, choose and discard 1 condition attachment from play. I'm going to choose the Caught in the Web and discard that from play. And now Gandalf leaves play. But the nice thing now is I have 5 dwarves. go to the end of the round. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Now we're going to give Biffer 1 resource from Haldir's resource pool. And now we're going to go over to the Sylvan deck, draw a card. We're going to put in a Greenwood Archer using the Olorian to reduce its cost by 1. And then the hero we're going to ready is Galadriel. Now we're going to play Olympus and put that onto Dane. Now we're going to go into the questing phase. We're going to quest for 3, 4, 5. Six, 7, 8, 9. Because the Greenwood Archer doesn't exhaust the quest. And he gets +1 to each of its attributes because of Celeborn. And there's a total of 2 in the staging area. First card, the first player deals 2 damage to a character committed to the quest. We're going to do that to Celeborn. And the second card is a Endless Caverns, Doomed 1 and Surge. And Tower Gate. So we added a total of 5 to the staging area, bringing it up to 7. So we quested successfully by 2 with just enough to clear the Great Forest Web. Now we're going to travel to the Endless Caverns. The Dol Guldur Orcs engages the Dwarf deck. Deal out shadow cards. We're going to block Chieftain Uftok with the Miner of the Iron Hills. No shadow. And he's attacking for 5, so that destroys the Miner of the Iron Hills. We're going to attack, we're going to block the attack of the Dol Guldur Orcs with Dane. No shadow, no damage. And then we're going to ready up Dane with Limbus and heal 3 damage. And now we're going to block the Dol Guldur Beastmaster with Dane. Attacking for 3. No shadow. Shadow. Choose and discard 1 attachment you control. Discard objective cards are returned to the staging area. If this attack is undefended, discard all attachments. So we are discarding the healing herbs. So he's attacking for 3, 3 defense, so no damage. And now we're going to attack back. We need 9 to destroy the Chieftain and 4 to destroy the Beastmaster. So we're going to attack with Haldir and the Greenwood Archer for a total combined of 6. And that's going to destroy the Dol Guldur Beastmaster. Now we go to the end of the round. Well, before we go to the end of the round, we're going to have the dwarf deck draw a card and reduce their threat by 1. Gandalf. We're going to go over to the dwarf deck, draw 2 cards. We're going to give Biffer a resource from Haldir. Now we're going to put into play Gandalf. And deal 4 damage to the Chieftain Uftok. Now attacking for 7. Now we're going to go into the questing phase. We're going to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's a total of 4 in the staging area. First card is Necromancer's Reach. We're going to play a Test of Will. Cancel that effect. Second card is a Lingering Venom. When revealed, each player must choose either exhaust each damaged character you control or deal 2 damage to a hero you control with the most damage. We're going to exhaust each character we control with the most damage, and then deal 2 damage to the most damaged character. And now I'm going to be picking Dane. And has Surge, Iron Shackles. Attach Iron Shackles to the top of the first player's deck. Counts as a condition attachment. Next time a player would draw 1 or more cards from attached deck, discard Iron Shackles instead. So now we quested for 10, and no threat got added, so we quest successfully by 6. That clears out the Endless Caverns and puts 3 progress onto the main quest, bringing us up to 9. And now we go to the combat phase. We're going to block Chieftain Uftok with Gandalf. Choose and discard 1 attachment from the defending character. If this attack is undefended, there's no attachments on the defending character, so Gandalf takes 3 damage. He's attacking for 7. And now we're going to use Haldir's ability, since we didn't engage a enemy, to snipe the Dol Guldur orcs. Now we're going to do a action, and we're going to raise threat by 2 to claim this objective when it's free of encounters. Now I'm going to attach it to Galadriel, so she can't attack or defend. Now we go to the next round. And we also flip over Mendor. And we each get a draw card. "2A. Through the Caverns. Finding a hidden entrance in the dungeons of Dol Guldur, at last, you attempt to make your way through the caverns beneath the hill, searching for the imprisoned friend. The denizens of this labyrinth stand in your way, while the jailers detain the prisoner. 2B. 15 quest points. Response: after placing any number of progress tokens on this card, flip the prisoner hero card face up and place 1 damage token on it. This hero has been rescued and may now be used by its controller. The players as a group can't play more than 1 ally each round. Players cannot advance to the next stage if this quest unless you have rescued the prisoner and all 3 escaped from Dol Guldur objective cards. Now before we go to that round, we're going to use Galadriel's ability to lower the threat of that dwarf deck by 1 and have them draw a card. And we're going to, in the refresh phase, Gandalf readies up. We're going to exhaust Gandalf and the Erebor Record Keeper to play a very good tail. And we have to discard the top 5 cards. Well, this time we only got 1 ally, and that's Bomber. So we go to the next round. We have still 5 dwarf characters. We get to draw 2 cards. And Gandalf leaves play. Now we're going to play a Narvi's Belt onto Bipper. And we're going to give Bipper 1 resource from Haldir. We're going to spend 1 of Bipper's resources to play a hidden cache and draw a card. And now we're going to go over to the Sylvan deck, draw a card. We're going to play Gandalf. And we're going to deal 4 damage to Chieftain Uftak. And he's discarded and he's destroyed. Now we're going to go into the questing phase. We're going to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6. Seven, 8, 12, 'Real Dungeon Jailer. If Dungeon Jailer is in the staging area after the players have just quested unsuccessfully, shuffle one unclaimed objective card from the staging area back into the encounter deck. And card number 2 is the Caught in a Web. First player with the highest, the player with the highest engagement. The first player with the highest threat level attaches this card to one of their heroes. It counts as a condition attachment with the text, attached hero cannot ready during the refresh phase unless you pay 2 resources from that hero's resource pool. We're going to attach it to Galadriel. So we quested successfully. By 7. Now put 7 progress onto the main quest. And we get to rescue our prisoner. And the Nazgul of Dol Guldur goes into the staging area. And the dungeon, we're going to travel to the Tower Guard, or Tower Gate. And now each player puts the top card of their deck in front of them, and it counts as a 1/1/1 enemy. And the dwarf deck also engages the Dungeon Jailer. So we deal out shadow cards. We're going to block the Dungeon Jailer with Dane. Shadow. Defending player must choose and exhaust one character they control. 2 characters if the attack is undefended. So we're going to exhaust Bomber. And we're going to block this other one with Ori. No shadow, no damage. Now we're going to block this with Calibor. Deal 1 damage to each character the defending player controls. 2 damage if attacks undefended. So that destroys the Greenwood Archer, destroys Calibor. And does 1 damage to Haldir and Galdor and Gladriel. Now we're going to attack with Mendor. And Haldir. And destroy the guard in front of me. Go to the next round. Before we go to the next round, we're going to exhaust Galadriel to have the dwarf deck lower the threat by 1 and draw a card. Now we're going to use 2 resources from Gladriel's resource pool to ready her up. Draw a card, Wingfoot. We're going to put Wingfoot onto Haldir. Go over to the dwarf deck. We're going to put King Under the Mountain onto Dane and look at the top 2 cards. We're going to put Gandalf into our hand and discard the Heirloom Miner so he goes into play. Now we're going to put Glowin into play, and we're exhausting Narvi's Bell to name leadership. And now we get to add 2 resources to a hero's resource pool. We're going to add 2 to Dane. go into the questing phase. Before we go into the questing phase, we're going to exhaust Galadriel to have Sylvan deck draw a card and reduce their threat by 1. Now we're going to quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. $14, $15, $16. And the first card is Necromancer's Reach. That deals 1 damage to Galadriel, damage to Glowin, destroys the Erebor Record Keeper. Does 1 damage to Bipper, Ori, Longbeard, Elder, and the Record Keeper. And the second card is a Necromancer's Pass. So we added 3 to the staging area, so we're at a total of 10. And we quested for 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we quested successfully by 4. That clears out the Tower Gate and puts 3 progress onto the main quest, bringing us up to 10. And now we're going to block the Dungeon Jailer with Dane. No shadow. No damage. And then we're going to attack the Dungeon Jailer for 3, 4, 5. And we deal it 2 damage plus 1 for the Valor. I also get a heal 1 damage from Haldir. Now we're going to do some actions. We're going to wait right now because we can't advance to the next stage yet. We're just going to go to the end of the round. We're going to spend 2 to ready up Galadriel. You draw 2 cards. Now we're going to use the King Under the Mountain and draw 2 cards. And discard the Miner and put the Lore of Moria into our hand. We're going to put Dory in place. We're going to move 1 resource from Dane's resource pool to Bipper's. And this guy should have attacked last turn, so I'm just going to say it was undefended. That's 1 damage to Ori. Now we're going to go over to the Sylvan deck, draw a card. Now we're going to quest with all the dwarf characters and then play Lore of Moria and ready them all up. So that's questing for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And there's a total of 2, 4, 5, 10 in the staging area. First card is a Great Forest Web. And the second card is another Necromancer's Pass. So we added 5 to the staging area, bringing it up to 15. So we quested successfully by 6. That puts 6 progress onto the main quest. Bringing it up to 16. we're going to do a action. I'm going to put a dungeon torch onto Dane. We have to raise our threat by 2. And at the end of each round, we raise our threat by additional 2. And then I'm also going to take another action, put the shadow key onto Haldir, and I raise our threat by 2. And at the end of each round, we have to deal 1 damage to the attached character. But that makes it so we can go to the next stage. We each get a draw card. That's a Mendor. "3A, out of the dungeons. Following a thread of sunlight, you discover a cavern opening leading out through the side of the hill. Stationed outside the cave mouth, however, is a large group of orcs." 3B, 7 quest points. Forced. At the beginning of the quest phase, each player places the top card of their deck face down in front of them, as if just engaged with them, from the staging area. This card is called Orc Guard. They act as enemies with 1 hit point, 1 attack, and 1 defense. Players cannot defeat the stage while Nazgul of Dol Guldur is in play. If this stage is defeated and the Nazgul of Dol Guldur is not in play, the players have won the game. I am going to engage the Nazgul of Dol Guldur with the dwarf deck. Deal out shadow cards. I'm going to block the Nazgul of Dol Guldur with Bomber. Shadow attacking enemy gets +1 attack. So that destroys Bomber, and it has a forced effect that after a shadow effect on the Nazgul of Dol Guldur is resolved, the engaged player must choose and discard 1 character they control. So I'm going to discard Glowin. And now I'm going to block the Dungeon Jailer with the Eredluin Miner, and takes 1 damage. And I'm going to block this Orc Guard with the Erebor Hammersmith. No shadow, no damage. Now I'm going to attack back against the Nazgul of Dol Guldur with Haldir for 3, plus he does 1 damage. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and he deals another damage. So the Nazgul of Dol Guldur is destroyed. So we go to the next round. card. And one thing, we are no longer restricted on playing allies. We have to deal 1 damage to the Haldir Florian and raise our threat by 2 additional threat. We're going to put the Sylvan Refugee into play. We're going to put a Gladrium Minstrel into play, and we get to search the top 5 cards of our deck for an event. It gets a Duran's Ruins. Play the Duran's Ruins and draw 2 cards. And then we're going to discard a card. We're going to put in a Henemar's River Song. Now we're going to go over to the Dwarf deck. Draw a card. Draw another card because we have 2 dwarves. We're going to use the King Out of the Mountains ability. We're going to discard the Heirloom Miner, or the Arid Mithrin Prospector, and keep the Lore of Moria. We're going to play Glowin. Now we're going to put 2 resources back on Dane. And we're going to pass the Ori resource over to Biffer. Now we're going to play the Hammersmith, and we bring back the top attachment, and that's the Healing Herbs. We're going to put that onto Dane. We have to put it onto a lore character. Let's put it onto Ori. We're going to put in an Erebor Record Keeper. Now we're going to go to the questing phase. We have to put the top card of our deck into the in front of them. And now we're going to quest with all the dwarf characters, and then we're going to play another Lore of Moria saying leadership with the Narvi's Belt. So we quest with all the dwarves, now they're all readied up. Then we're going to quest with Haldir, and we're going to say enemy, and we're going to say treachery, and then Meneldor. And now we're going to quest with all the allies over here. So we're questing for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. And there is a total of 10 in the staging area. First card is a Mountains of Mirkwood. And second card is a Great Forest Web. So we added 4. Bringing it up to 14. So we quested successfully by 17. Put 17 progress onto the main quest. It only takes 7 to fulfill it. And there is no Nazgul of Dol Guldur in play. So there's a win. This is probably one of the easiest times I played this quest. I did lose a hero, but the quest is tough. Usually it is not this easy at all. What was a really big benefit is at the very beginning, putting those objective cards, 2 of them were events that did literally nothing. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And want to make some comments. And I'll be seeing you in the shadows of Mirkwood. Have a great day. And before I wrap things up, I'm going to the resolution. Determine one of the following. 1. If Meldor is still in play, add Mendor to the campaign pool. So Mendor is still in play. So if you do, put Mendor into play at the start of each scenario during your next campaign. Each player may also include 1 copy of Mendor support in their deck during that campaign.